The second round of the 2019 Protyre Ginetta GT5 Challenge is just minutes away. A great grid of cars assembled here in the spring sunshine at Oulton Park for their second of 3 races here to kick off the 2019 season. It's a busy old weekend for these drivers, but there are lots of them out there. 31 cars due to take the start, and these are usually fairly entertaining races, and I'm expecting nothing different at all here this morning for their first race of 2 today. They had one race on Saturday, another one here this morning. They're going to try and keep the cars in one piece for their third and final one later on, but with the racing as close as it tends to be, it can often get a little bit lively. So as the cars head out onto the green flag lap, time to introduce your comms team. It's myself, Andy McEwen, delighted to be joined once more for these Ginetta races by David Pittard. David, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you anticipating today? Are you looking forward to it?
Yes, I mean, it's nice to have a sunny bank holiday weekend for once. These guys, the GT5 lads, have had some of their races cancelled in previous years because the weather's been so bad. So, yeah, it's Oulton Park is a beautiful circuit, beautiful to drive on as well, a real driver's circuit. So, yeah, I think these guys have been for a treat today.
Yes, and so are we. The racing, as I said, always fairly exciting here. The grid is filing through on your screen. It is Adam Smalley, former Ginetta Junior star, who has the pole position. Scott McKenna alongside him. Gordy Much, Saturday's race winner, is on row 2 with Jerry Nicosia, who's done a bit of racing in everything really. Ginettas, Ford Fiestas. He's back in Ginettas now in the GT5 Challenge for another season. Sammy Saralina's next ahead of Josh Malin. Ruben Del Sart and Connor Grady share the 4th row with Katie Milner and Tom Golding rounding out your top 10. Then it's Gus Bowers, Danny Harrison, Josh Hislop and David Ellerslie, who should make progress from 14th, I'd imagine. Matt Maxted and Will Durdle are next in line, ahead of Nick Halstead and Abby Pulling, who, as you can see, share the 9th row of the grid. James Townsend and Wesley Pearce are on row number 10, but it's a packed grid of cars that sometimes can present issues. It's a narrow old circuit, isn't it, David? And that charge into Old Hall Corner can get rather hectic.
There is a definite pinch point at the apex, and beginning of the season, everyone wants to set themselves up for the year, so they're all looking to jostle for the best position. But at the same time, they've got to counter that built up enthusiasm over the winter to finish first. First you must finish, score some points, so then they can put together a championship charge. And we saw in Saturday's race, I'd say probably one of the championship favourites, Adam Smalley, having coming together with the G40 Cup champion Tom Golding, and yeah, unfortunately that put paid to their first races. So they've got a get out jail free card, as the qualifying format has changed for this year, where our second fastest time for qualifying determines the grid for the second race. So Adam Smalley, having the second fastest time, is now back on pole again, having not scored in the first race.
Yeah, Gordy Much was the winner yesterday. Ruben Del Sart second, and Jerry Nicosia third. Katie Milner among those non-finishers in Saturday's race, and she's been known to get up there inside the top 5, and she will start this one from the back end of the top 10 as well, will Katie. We'll keep an eye on her to see what sort of progress she can make. But Smalley and Scott McKenna starting together on the front row. They raced in Ginetta Juniors together as well, which use the same cars, the Ginetta GT5s, but these cars not restricted with their horsepower levels as all junior categories of racing must be. So they've got the full performance underneath them, and the GT5 car, a great little chassis, lightweight and not particularly aerodynamic, which is what creates the really close racing with lots of slipstreaming. Maybe not so much here at Oulton Park, they'll still be close, but that's because it's a competitive field rather than the slipstream taking effect. We expect lots of overtaking though, and lots of fierce competition as the red lights go on, and Adam Smalley and Scott McKenna launch off the front row of the grid down towards Old Hall Corner. The yellow car on the left is Smalley, the white and blue on the outside, Scott McKenna and Jerry Nicosia, the orange and white car, trying to slip up the middle of the two of them. The door was never really open, and eventually he backs out of it, out onto the grass though, unfortunately goes McKenna, and that will cost him any chance of wrestling the lead away from Smalley. In fact, I think it will allow Nicosia through into second. Yes, it does. He thinks about fighting back in Cascade, stage. There's no way through though, so the order for the top three will be Smalley from Nicosia, from Scott McKenna down to third position, who braved it out around the outside of Old Hall corner, but unfortunately found himself stuck on the grass on the run down the avenue, 2 and 3 wide further back as they race down the lakeside straight through Island Bend. Jerry Nicosia is on his toes here right from the word go. Not only has he found a way into second place, but he's now attacking for the race lead, and a bit wide there out of shell for the race leader. That will provide extra inspiration for Nicosia here. He will feel that he's quicker, he will feel that he's able to find a way through, and David, this first lap is by far your best chance to do so.
Yeah, I mean, with the cars being so close, the slipstream effect into Island Bend, not the advised line through there for the number 46 car. And we can see that Nicosia's now dropped back from Smalley a little bit there, so I don't know if he's made a mistake through the first chicane there, but yeah, seriously close action from these GT5 cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I wonder whether he maybe got over those curves, which sometimes can happen. Oh dear, look at the inside there for the 48 car going through Nickelbrook corner. That was Gordy Butch. So Gordy Butch, the winner yesterday, who finds himself a little bit further down the order now in the early stages of this one. Look through as they go, and you're right, Nicosia is now the man, no longer on the attack, but very much on the defence, as Scott McKenna tries to get back into second place. And you can see why Scott is so anxious to do this, because Adam Smalley is starting to pull a little bit of a gap at the head of the field. They're just 15-minute races, these ones as well, so only about 7 or 8 laps anticipated, and that's if we don't get safety cars. So if Scott McKenna's going to do this, he's going to have to get a move on. He's in the tow as they come across the start-finish line. It's Tom Golding, the all-white car, in 4th place, who is also trying to buy into all of this as the 3 of them descend upon Old Hall corner as one. Nicosia drives down the middle of the road, just trying to cover off all bases, really, trying to stop McKenna going on the inside or the outside. You can occasionally go right round the outside of Old Hall corner. McKenna now, though, trying to find a gap where there wasn't one down at Cascades corner. It is another viable overtaking opportunity, but if it goes wrong, it almost certainly will end in contact. But these defensive lines being taken by Nicosia here, David, it's backing the field up, and it's now about an 8 or 9 car train for second place.
This is the ideal race that Adam Smalley dreamt about probably last night. He's just able to get away. Nicosia was very quick out the blocks. He's driven these cars for a long time, had a mega start to challenge for second and the lead, but now he doesn't quite seem to have the pace at the beginning of this race. I mean, yeah, they're 1.5 seconds off already, Smalley, and there's a big train forming behind, so yeah, watch for fireworks here.
Adam Smalley missing out on all the fun, but that's just the way he'd like it. Rather too much fun, unfortunately, for Daniel Budd, former mini-star in classic minis rather than the newer shaped F56s. He and brother Charlie both racing in Ginettas this year. Daniel, unfortunately, has had a grassy excursion. I think that was on the exit of Cascades corner. So things settling down into a bit of a rhythm now, but not for Jerry Nicosia, who is all arms and elbows as he tries to keep Scott McKenna at bay. Up the hill they go. There is Smalley, and when you consider we've done less than 2 laps of racing, that is a mightily impressive lead margin. You get the sense here that Scott McKenna could probably have gone with him, but he just can't quite prise the door open here and get back into second place. Lodge corner is another possible place to do it, but I'm sure Nicosia will have it covered. Yes, he does, and this allows Tom Golding, the stack-up effect again there in full view. Tom Golding trying to go right round the outside, gets shoved off onto the grass though, and Conor Grady in the yellow car seizes the chance to go up the inside and gains a position. So into 4th place now for Conor Grady, and this could be a case of the floodgates opening, I fear, for Tom Golding. Sammy Saralainen was trying to get up the inside of the white and red car, couldn't quite do it though, so Tom was at least able to stem the flow at just 1 position lost. And in fact, Conor Grady, who just got past him, then promptly runs onto the grass as Golding slows. Tom Golding slows all of a sudden in the white car. I was about to suggest that mistake for Grady could allow Tom back through into 4th, but as he pulled out to make the move, his car suddenly stops going, it would appear. There's another car destroying its front splitter all the way down the lakeside straight. It will eventually find the black stuff again, I think.
Josh Marlin, I think.
Ah, right, okay, and he will rejoin, but that will have done his car absolutely no good at all, will it?
No, not at all. There's some big bumps on the exit there. I was waiting for it to go airborne, but I think the MSV staff here at Oulton Park have smoothed them all out, and the fact that the ground is nice and dry as well. I know, again, in previous Easter weekends it's been absolutely horrendous. Yeah, could do a serious lot of damage. I think he's got away with it.
Yes, unfortunately, lots of positional loss, but it could have been a lot worse, I suppose. So, what does that mean for the order? Well, it is still Nicosia second, it is still McKenna third, but it is now Conor Grady into 4th place. Sammy Saralainen is 5th. Ruben Delsart, another Ginetta Junior graduate, is 6th, ahead of Danny Harrison, Gordon Mutch, Katie Milner inside the top 10 now, and Josh Malin into 10th place there, David Elsley just behind him in 11th. But this is a real battle here on the second position. How long do you think before frustration starts to set in here for Scott McKenna, David? He looks like he's quicker. It's just so difficult to overtake, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Scott had the pace in Saturday's race. He walked away at the front. Unfortunately, jump start penalty demoted him to about 7th, I believe. So that lost him quite a lot of championship points on the likes of Gordy Much and Jerry. So I think he's potentially playing a safe game because he wants to bag points rather than make a mistake and lose a bonnet. And you see the amount of cars behind him. If he makes one mistake, he's potentially going to go back 3 or 4 or 5 positions.
Yeah, this will have to be an A-star defensive drive here, won't it, for Nicosia to keep them all at bay. We saw Tom Golding slow a lap ago. Well, he's now, to add insult to injury, been handed a false start 10-second penalty as well. It's all kicking off for second place again, though, because Conor Grady, ever the opportunist here, he's reading the situations quite well in front of him, isn't he? We saw him gain the place on Golding after Golding's attack went wrong up at Lodge, and there he tried to do the same sort of thing to Scott McKenna. He hasn't quite got fully alongside. Well, that is a really good sign, isn't it, for Conor, who's a relatively experienced driver, actually, despite his relative youthful age. But he has this experience and he has this knack, doesn't he, for reading the situation in front, seeing, knowing when to attack and knowing when not to, and trying to take advantage of other people's mistakes.
He knows these G40 cars very well, having driven the junior championship as well. And I don't think many other championships provide as close racing as Ginetta cars do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This GT5 car does lend itself to this very close racing, as we suspected would be the case, and they are delivering once again here at Oulton Park. The other car, by the way, that's been given a 10-second false start penalty was Matt Consus in the Fox Motorsport car. He is running down in 22nd position anyway, so it's slightly less relevant as far as our front-running battles are concerned. But for Matt, unfortunately, his second race of the season not going all that well. I think every race we've had so far today, we've had false start penalties, so the start line officials are on it today. They're keeping a close eye on whether you're out of position on the grid and indeed whether you move before the lights are extinguished. And unfortunately, quite a few drivers doing a cropper of that already today. So down towards Lodge Corner we go then for the 4th time of asking, and the Nicosia train is getting ever tighter together here, and you sense that something has to give here. Will it be Jerry making a mistake, or will it be that opportunist Conor Grady in 4th place, able to take advantage maybe of the dicing in front of him? Let's see what happens down at Old Hall Corner. Grady goes to the outside line. There are about 6 or 7 different lines being used into Old Hall Corner. That's the 48 car of Gordy Much. He was dicing with the orange car of Ruben Del Sart, which doesn't actually negotiate Old Hall Corner at all in the end, goes straight on onto the grass. I think, David, he's either got a problem or he's being very, very careful with the car rejoining.
Yeah, it looked like the front left was down, maybe. So just the car seemed to just understeer off, and then Danny Harrison was able to capitalise on that, and he's gone back through to 8th by the looks.
Perhaps explain why the car didn't turn right at Old Hall Corner then, but the reason for that potential puncture remains unknown. So Del Sart, another front runner dropping down the order. We've had a tangle down at Cascades, I'm afraid. 2 more cars will therefore start to drop down our timing screen as well, and that is very easily done, isn't it, David? In your enthusiasm to get back on the road, that right foot gets a little too heavy sometimes, doesn't it?
May have been a little bit of red mist there from the Firth car,
Ryan Firth, that is.
Yeah, so yeah, over enthusiasm there. Let's see what happens here.
There were 3 cars involved actually. I think possibly the green and white car in avoidance. That was number 73, Lewis Ryder. Didn't quite see who tangled with Ryan Firth there, but it's a popular place to have an accident, Cascades, because it's an inviting place to go on the inside, but you're carrying so much speed there, aren't you?
You need a bit of compliance from the opposite car as well to make that move stick, definitely.
Yes, and perhaps the coordination between those drivers lacking rather at that particular point. Now, Conor Grady, who's been going forward since the start of the race, now for really the first time is visibly having to drive defensive lines to keep the white and red car of Sami Saralainen at bay. Sami weaving around in the slipstream, trying to open the door. Now, this takes the pressure, momentarily at least, off Scott McKenna. Could this maybe be Scott's chance to really start to build another attack here against Jerry, because he's not under as much pressure as he has been? Yeah,
I mean, again, thinking from that championship perspective, when you've got a stack of cars behind, there's still a lot to lose. But now you've got a bit of a gap, you can go a bit more on the attack and maybe make the move to jump to the front of the train.
little bit wide there. That's Danny Harrison in 7th position. Katie Milner, the red, white, blue car behind, who's been in this championship for a few years now, has Katie, and she tends to go fairly well here at Oulton Park as well. She's the car that's at the tail end of this sort of 2nd through to 8th place battle, and in fact she's about to gain a place because Danny Harrison runs out wide onto the grass on the exit of Cascade. Not the first driver we've seen do that today, and he won't be the last either. Katie Milner now up another spot into 7th. The top 5 could be beckoning here because she's already made really good progress from her starting position. Gordy much up the inside of Sarah Liner.
Good move.
Didn't quite see how that started, David, but it was a good move, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he showed his nose. Sarah Liner got spooked by it, turned out of it, and opened the door for Much to go through. Mega move.
Yeah, sensible stuff, I guess, for Sarah Liner, in that he was making absolutely sure that he avoided contact, but he'll be kicking himself now because he's lost a position. So Sarah Liner down to 6th position. Gordy Much now perhaps becoming the man to watch in this 2, 4, 6, 7 car battle for 2nd position. What's going on with Conor Grady here then? Because he looked like arguably the fastest car in this group earlier on, and now we're seeing him defend more than attack. So could that be tyres, or maybe just a bit of a loss of momentum somewhere?
Yeah, speaking to a lot of the drivers yesterday and on Saturday, they're all struggling with the rear ends going off, so the car becomes very sliding. A lot of drivers are going to be able to adapt to that better than others, so maybe getting to this later start part of the race with the track temperature going up all the time, those rears are starting to go off worse maybe for Conor than others.
Well, he's still there in 4th place and could yet capitalise from some fireworks in front of him, because it looks as though Scott McKenna is taking his cue here. There was a screech of tyres, I think, in the background. Someone may not come across the start-finish line in quite the order in which they were in a lap ago, but it's 4 cars for 2nd place as they do streak across the start-finish line. Is there going to be a move made into Old Hall Corner? Defensive lines once again being taken by McKenna. Sarah Linen is the man dropping down our timing screen. He settles into 11th position in the end, so the screech of tyres I think we can attribute to him. It's side by side for 4th place here though, and well, Gordy Much, if Conor Grady's tyres are going away, Gordy perhaps starting with slightly lower tyre pressures because he's coming on really strong, isn't he?
That was another mega move. He's the man on the charge at the moment, and Nicosia and McKenna need to watch out for that. I don't think Much had a very good start at all. He dropped way back, but he's absolutely charging now.
Yeah, exactly. Gordy Much, who we saw was quick in yesterday's race, and yeah, started this one 3rd on the grid. So yes, I agree, something must have gone wrong in the shuffle in the opening lap or so. But he's making up for it now. He's almost back to where he started. The trouble is there are just less than 2.5 minutes to go. Smoke streaming from the tyres there. I think that was Nicosia's car as he slid his way through the left-right, left flick at the Britain chicane. Downhill they go though, and Nicosia so far has had an answer to every question asked by Scott McKenna, but he could yet have a slightly different problem on its way because Gordy Much is continuing to close. Simon Kira, unfortunately, is off, and that's on the corner, and that has been embarrassing, hasn't it?
Yes, looks to the inside, classic place to lose the car here at Oulton Park. You either touch the grass on the outside or the runoff, and it just spits you back to the inside. And Much is now up to 3rd with McKenna to 5th.
Yes, so something has happened down at Knickerbrook then, whilst we were looking at the stricken car of Simon Kira. We'll hopefully try and pick up what happened there, but the end result is that Nicosia now does have Gordy Much on his tail, and Gordy is staring down the barrel of a 2nd place finish here. There will be one more lap to go by my reckoning, because the race leader, Adam Smalley, who we've sort of forgotten about here because he is so far in front, but he will streak through onto his 8th lap of the race. There are yellow flags at Old Hall Corner, so no overtaking for the time being here for Gordy Much. The lead gap is nearly 8.5 seconds for Adam Smalley. It's been a dominant drive this from Adam. Most of that work done in the early stages, and then he's benefited from this great defensive drive by Jerry Nicosia. Scott McKenna up the inside of Cascades on Conor Grady. He's alongside. Connor's on the dirty side of the road. I don't think has much tyre left underneath him either, and so through will go Scott back into 4th position. I don't know whether he's got time to get back onto the podium. He may well benefit from what is becoming an increasingly spirited attack here from Gordy Much. He's already on the podium. He wants the 2nd place finish though. He's going to try and go right round the outside of the Shell hairpin. Surely not. Nicosia leaves him room on the exit of the corner there, wheel to wheel down towards the Britain chicane. This for 2nd place, and Scott McKenna closing in again. Up the inside goes Gordy Much. They're leaning on each other right over the curve. Fabulous racing. Oh, there had to be contact eventually. Much on the grass, and McKenna tries to buy into it as well. Gordy goes to the back of the group, but will Jerry Nicosia hang on? Yes, he does. Sensational racing there. You've got a feel for Gordy Much, but what a defensive drive this is from Nicosia.
I don't know how he's done that. He's made it look very easy, I must admit. He's not had to be offline a huge amount, but everyone else is just stacked up behind him.
Gordy Much. He went for it, fair play. He could have just settled for the third place. He may now be wishing that he had, but still some good points on the way, and with two or three more corners to go, ample opportunities to try and gain another spot or two back. For this man, though, he has missed out on all of the action, but he'll be quite happy with that, I think. Adam Smalley on his way to his first victory of the season. A dominant drive and a winning margin we don't often see in this championship, of what's going to be getting on for about 9 or 10 seconds, I reckon. But it will be the checkered flag in round number 2 of the Protyre Motorsport Ginetta GT5 Challenge for Adam Smalley, and a fantastic textbook victory that was. What is going on for second place? It will be, well, as they were a couple of laps ago, ironically, with Nicosia second and Scott McKenna somehow going from 5th to 3rd on the final lap. 4th place will go the way of Conor Grady, 5th for Gordy Much, who had one of the most entertaining races of anyone out there, and Katie Milner, 6th position. Solid job there for Katie. She picked up another few places with other people's dramas towards the end. Then in 7th position will be Josh Hislop, 8th for David Ellerslie. I said he made progress. Will Durdle is 9th, and Sammy Saralainen dropped to 10th. I did notice another car in the gravel at Lodge Corner as well. I'm not sure who that was, but that certainly appears to be the part of the circuit where Saralainen had an issue earlier on. But no issues for Adam Smalley. He comes home the victor. But with Gordy Much, our winner yesterday, down in 5th position, how much will... Oh, hang on, there's someone else off at Druids, and that's number 16, which is Val Sidhu. And Val, who races anything and everything he can get his hands on, really. BMWs and Porsches and Ferraris, and, well, he did that all on his own, I think, up at Druids. Did he make the barriers? He did, so a little bit of repair work for the team to do after the race. The rear wing dislodged ever so slightly. But Adam Smalley, the perfect drive for him. We mentioned frequently during that race the spectacular job being done by Jerry Nicosia, but in a very different way. That was a perfect race for Adam Smalley as well, wasn't it?
9.8 seconds was the winning margin. To do that in an 8-lap race, that's pretty impressive. He was helped up by his wingman, Nicosia, not quite teammates, but Nicosia really helped him out. Smalley just, I think, as you mentioned, the job was done in the first few laps, where he just had to put his head down, get away, and after that he could probably just look after the car, look after the tyres, fastest lap to boot, so that will give him an extra championship point as well. Textbook race, job done for Adam Smalley, well done him.
To put that into perspective, the next 9 seconds covers the next 9 cars, so the rest of the top 10 essentially. Adam Smalley then, your dominant race victor. Jerry Nicosia, though, arguably driver of the race, to keep them all behind him in second. Scott McKenna fought back to 3rd towards the end, with Conor Grady fading, and actually fairly fortunate to end up in 4th position. Gordy Much provided much of the entertainment, and he rounds out the top 5, with Katie Milner a good job in 6th. Josh Hislop is 7th, David Ellerslie is 8th, Will Durdle, Sammy Saralainen next in line. They round out the top 10, ahead of Gus Bowers and the rest. There were quite a few in strife, and quite a few front-running drivers as well. Tom Golding and Ruben Delsart spring straight to mind. We don't know what the issue was for Tom Golding. He'd been handed a 10-second jump start penalty anyway, one of many already today to suffer that fate, but the car then slowed just as it looked as though he was starting to regain some lost ground. So a dramatic race for him, a dramatic race for most of the drivers, really. Everyone, pretty much, except for Adam Smalley, who led from start to finish. He nearly lost the lead, and how different the race could have been for him had Scott McKenna or Jerry Nicosia managed to get through into Old Hall Corner. They weren't able to get through, though, and so the yellow and black car of Smalley was able to hang on to take the victory. Nicosia was second. There was some antics down at the Britain chicane on the opening lap, a grassy route taken by Ryan Firth, who would later be in dramas at Cascades as well. Then the defence began for Nicosia, as he had 6 or 7 cars behind him, all stacking up to try and get through. Daniel Budd had an off at Cascades. He wouldn't be the last driver to go off there either. Several other drivers finding out just how bumpy that run-off area was down the Lakeside Straight. The fight for second, though, was sensational, and by mid-race distance it was Gordy Much who was making his way up the order with some nice moves on Sammy Saralainen, and later on Conor Grady. They ran wheel to wheel with Jerry Nicosia at the chicane. Contact was made, though, and that allowed Nicosia to hang on. A fabulous second race of the weekend then for the GT5 Challenge, and they will be back for more later on this afternoon.